Hey everybody, thanks for pressing play. So we've had some properties in this subdivision before. We've got some in inventory right now, and I'm sure we will have many more in the future. Whatever the case, the video at the top of this page, I think, does a pretty good job of acquainting, familiarizing the potential buyer with the subdivision, the region that it's in, this part of Colorado, anything that you need to know about utilities or zoning, so on and so forth. It's a good sort of, 30,000 feet bird's eye view, broad brushstrokes type of video. This specific parcel, however, has some unique features to it, and so I want to just kind of make a little video about this, just to kind of discuss this parcel specifically, and in even greater detail go into kind of the topography of the property, which I think is something that a buyer should be aware of. So first off, if we pull the plat map up, there's roughly, a couple hundred parcels within this subdivision. And I think if you were to walk the entirety of this region, you would find that most of these square rectangular shaped properties are flat pieces of land. This parcel, the one that you're looking at right now, is unique for a couple of reasons. Number one is that it is not a square rectangle, it is this triangular shape. And this triangular shape is born from the topography of the property, which is to say that this one has a bit of a slope, it has a bit of a pitch to it. Now, I don't know how much of that is communicated into the photos. I don't know how much of it can be communicated in the photos. So I did want to kind of discuss this a little bit more. Whatever the case, let me just first say this. So the property is very close to the river. Hang on a second. So here's the river right here. And then, of course, the property sits right across from it. Now, please take note, whoever owns lots 87, 88, 89, and 90, these are privately owned parcels. To get to the river, you have to cross somebody else's land. Whatever the case, these are not developed parcels. It's not like there's 4 houses sitting right across from you. These are parcels that are probably owned by somebody who's never there or there infrequently, we'll say, uses them seasonally, uses them recreationally. So, practically speaking, can you walk from your parcel right across the river, do some fishing, do some fly fishing? Yes, you can. Something to be aware of, however, is that one day the owners might show up, and so maybe you don't cross exactly there. You get the point. Anyway, let me go to the map here. So a couple things I want to show you. Number one, this road is not labeled on Google Maps, but this is Prairie Wind Lane where the parcel sits on this side of the road. My photographer, and I've had 2 photographers out there, tell me that not only is this the easiest way to approach the property, but despite however accessible it may seem by coming down here and looping back around, apparently it's just a lot easier to go this way. I've never gotten any specific details about that, but my guess is the developed home sites over here, somebody is closed off the road or something. Whatever the case, you can easily access the property here along Prairie Wind Lane. Now, part of me pointing out the developed home sites is simply to indicate that there are a number of people who are living in this region, and because of that, that always means that power and underground utilities are fairly close to the property because they're servicing developed home sites. If you go through the photo gallery, so this shot is somewhere here along Prairie Wind Lane. It's not at the property itself, so I don't want to give you that impression. That's why it's not labeled power at the lot line. Whatever the case, this is just evidence of the fact that the utilities do exist out there. The underground utilities, my understanding, are about 100 feet from the property. I think it's safe to say, looking at this, first of all, if you zoom in here, these are probably the closest power lines, roughly about 100 feet from the subject parcel. Maybe this is one over here. But obviously, these utilities are servicing all these home sites, so likely not difficult to get extended out to the subject parcel. I do, however, want to communicate that they're not sitting directly right there on the parcel, okay? Anyway, additionally, property boundary markers, these seem to mark all of the properties within the subdivision. These are pretty well defined. I guess with this one, you would only have 3 because of its triangular shape. Anyway, so Prairie Wind Lane, obviously we indicate in all of our listings, this is a region which is best to take a larger truck or off-road capable vehicle. Yes, you could probably drive this in a Prius, but would you want to? I also like to point out in this photo that a lot of people who own land along the banks of the river do tend to use it seasonally, recreationally. They tend to bring RVs out there. You, of course, could do that with your parcel as well, but this is just more evidence of that. Additionally, this is sort of our drive toward the property, and I'm showing you this, or I'm including this in the photo gallery here, because I think this starts to give you a sense of the fact that this area is flat and goes down toward the river, and this area is not flat and kind of has a crest to it, has that pitch to it. And maybe you get a bit of a sense of it here with this photo of the fact that the property has a bit of a hillside to it. If you're looking for a property that you can develop, that you can easily build on, this might not be for you. Maybe its proximity to the river is attractive to you and is something that you do want to consider. If you're at all close to Conejos County, to this Alamosa River Estate subdivision, I'd recommend taking a drive out there and seeing if this is something that is or is not a deal breaker for you, the degree of pitch that this property has. My photographer indicates that the land closest to the road is the flattest, so if you were just using it for camping or just taking the RV out there and parking it on, you should be able to do that. Whatever the case, as you can see, there is this bit of a hillside. Additionally, of course, you can also get a sense of the fact that the neighbor, this, whatever compound here to the north, is visible from the property. So you have the benefit of the fact that their utilities are probably not far off to get extended. But, of course, their presence is, I think, pretty well felt here on the land. And, of course, because there are no, real covenants or restrictions out there, you can have a lot that looks like this with some broke-down cars. And maybe that's a deal breaker for you. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But, of course, we do like to detail this in the photo gallery. Anyway, additionally, as you go through this, you can see the river here just across. These photos were taken in December. So the river is kind of cold, kind of snowy, kind of icy, but you can see it here. Of course, you do have easy access to it. And you could also see from the photos here that these other properties right across the street from you, right across Prairie Wind Lane, have not been developed. So if you did want to take a casual walk over there and go fishing, you would probably have zero resistance. Anyway, the drone photos, let me direct your attention to this drone photo. This one, I think, gives you a better sense. Actually, I don't know exactly how much of a sense it gives you, but I think you do see that this property is situated on a bit of a slope. If we go to this photo here, you can see that this is the sort of hillside that the property is on. And again, we just want to disclose that. We want to make you aware of that because that might be a problem for you. It might be something that you find attractive. It might not be. But the point is that this is not one of the largely interchangeable other 150 parcels that combine this subdivision that are flat pieces of land. This one does have that pitch to it. So I'd encourage you guys, review the photo gallery. Try to kind of eyeball this as best as you can. And if it is a property that you're interested in, if you're at all close down there to southern Colorado, take a drive out there, look at it in person. It might be worth the trip. Okay? Anyway, with all that said, thanks for watching.